Hey guys, Harry here. So the core gameplay patch number 3 has just been deployed on CTE and has brought a ton of updates, including lots of changes to rush, game mode, and some various map specific updates. There's now a new jet stall physics and camera feedback when hitting the flight ceiling. There's now an improved suppression effect and also some changes to the netcode features, which I'll get more into later on. A link to all the rush specific and general patch notes is in the description if you want to read for yourself. Now let's talk about some of the rush updates. There was a lot of much needed changes, but the one that's really made me happy is Commander mode is now removed by default in Rush. I just generally hate Commander mode in any game, except for maybe Conquest Large sometimes, and especially for Rush you want to be a little bit more stealthy, and having Commander spamming the UAVs really makes things harder. A match start time has been added, which means no more SSD master race. The footage play now is an example of what you'll see. I'm loading into the game, but we'll be hit with a 7-second timer. Pretty much whoever had an SSD obviously loaded into the game much quicker and had the upper hand than anyone using a traditional hard drive. Yeah, okay, it was fun, but we have to admit it was a bit unfair. I'm pretty sure this will only apply to PC, obviously consoles don't have this issue. There's been other improvements as well, like radar sweep range around the attacker bases have been reduced, and making sure the final attacker tickets are not reset after the last base explodes. Now, some personal changes I would like to see. I think there's too many vehicles for 32 player rush games. It can make things pretty unpleasant, especially for the defenders. I just hope DICE might consider reducing the vehicle count for 32 player and below servers, or maybe raise the vehicle respawn timers. I also think the MCOMs are way too close to each other. The distance between them needs to be raised, but the changes are a good step in the right direction. I don't really play Rush that often, seeing as hardly any servers run it, but these changes might make it a bit more popular. We also have a ton of other fixes. Su-50 and F-35 pilots will now hear proper sounds when being shot at. Like I said before, there's a new jet stall physics when hitting the flight ceiling. As you can see here, this is what happens when you do hit that ceiling. Your screen will kind of shake and your jet will automatically descend to a lower altitude. This is a much better system and a feature that should have been implemented a long time ago. The way the current system is in the retail version of Battlefield 4, it's extremely annoying, as in the heat of the moment you're trying to evade the attacker on your tail, and if you accidentally fly too high, all of a sudden you just literally get stuck in the sky. There's been improvements to make it more obvious when you're being suppressed. Your screen will now darken more around the edges as well as the colours. As you can see here, this is the visual difference you'll see when compared to the retail version of Battlefield 4. Will be interesting to hear if you guys prefer the new style or not. I'm sure there's been a few times where you may not realise you're still in a suppressive state, even long after being shot at. And I guess this new darkening effect will make it more easier to identify if you're still in a suppressive state, and can help you decide your next move. You may want to stay back until the suppression effect has gone before moving onwards. Now let's talk about the netcode features. If you haven't already heard, the CTE devs want to eventually automate the client-side high-frequency update. So I'm assuming it will automatically change from 30Hz to 20 or back down to 10Hz when your connection is going bad. Honestly, I don't see a need for this. I'd much rather have better peace of mind knowing it's permanently on 30Hz, but that's just my opinion. The first step towards the automation of the frequencies has brought in a new command you can enter via the console. If you type this command, you can see now it will display a really cool, very detailed graph of the state of the connection to the game server and the server to your PC. As we can see here, it will tell you what frequency the game server is sending data to you. It also shows latency, packet loss to and from the server, and also has the average, minimum and maximum values for each of these data sets. The next CTE update should have the next step in automating the high frequency update bubble. The network performance graph is going to be a vital indication on the different network conditions you encounter. Obviously, we probably won't see this feature fully implemented in the retail version for a while. I imagine this is going to take some tweaking to get right. Anyway, that's the end of this video. I always like doing videos like this so you guys know what's going on in the development side of things. Subscribe to my channel for future content. Take care, and I'll see you next time.